Hello everyone, welcome to Simple Crochet channel. I'm so glad to be with you in this video. Today we're going to continue our free course for absolute beginners, and we're going to introduce another stitch with its variation. I'm going to introduce 4 different variations for the half double crochet stitch, of course with its diagrams and how to read it in a pattern. So technically this video will going to be in 4 parts. With each part I'm going to start a new variation. But before starting our video, let me remind you of this course. This is a course for absolute beginners to learn how to do the 3 basic stitches with their variations. You're supposed to watch the video and practice the stitch. Then I'm going to introduce a pattern, a full written pattern to make a scarf or neck warmer. This time I'm going to introduce a video for the neck warmer, and you are going to be given the written instruction at the end of the video to see how you can read the chart and the written instruction and do the stitch. But to have all these, you need to be subscribed to the channel and watch the video. So whenever I release a new video for this course, you will be notified when it is released. Otherwise, you could miss some of these videos and instruction. And I will appreciate if you join my Facebook group or the other group which I'm sharing all this work in. I'm going to leave post links in the description section below, so you can just join them and you will have all the pattern and all the instructions and all the links for the videos on them. So let's start. Now, as I told you, I am going to teach you how to read the chart and the written instruction for the stitch. But before reading the chart, we are going to practice our slip knot and chaining first, and this is for absolute beginners. I'm going to go slow for all of you. Now you need to wrap the yarn around your finger like this. Hold this end of the yarn in front of your ring here like this, and just use your hook to insert it from one side around this yarn here and move it to the other side and pull just like this. So you will have the starting knot. Use your 3 fingers to wrap the yarn around them like this and around the first finger like this, and with these 2 fingers, which are very important, you are going to hold your yarn like this, so you will have a good grip of your stitch after that, and it won't get so tight or so loose. So like this, and the tip of your hook is facing you and the yarn is behind. So you are going to wrap the yarn around your hook. This is yarning over and is abbreviated to as YO. So whenever you find YO, it means yarn over. And just pull this yarn in the loop on the hook like this. And this is how you chain. Again, hold this like this so it won't get loose or tight. So yarn over and just pull through the loop. Again, hold your stitch, yarn over and pull through, and just make sure that your yarn or your loop on the hook is movable. It's not too tight or too loose like this. Yarn over and pull, yarn over and pull, and whenever you do this, just hold your last stitch like this. Yarn over and pull, yarn over and pull, and so on until you reach the last or the length that you want. You can just practice in a small portion like this or a small sample. Now, before working our stitch, I am going to explain one more time this chain. This is the chain that you did. I do have here 2 loops of the chain. This is the upper loop and this is the lower loop, and there is another loop behind here which is called the back pump. Sometimes there are some patterns that works in the back loop or the back pump here, but I'm not going to show you this now because it's a little bit harder for beginners. So I am going to work in this upper loop all the time, this one. So to work this half double crochet, what you need to do is you need to mark the first stitch after the hook, and this is very important. This is the stitch or the loop on the hook, see, and this is the first stitch in our row. So I am going to mark this stitch. Just insert your marker in this stitch in the upper loop here, and you are going to skip this stitch here, the one that you marked, and work in the next stitch or the next chain here, this one. So what you're going to do is yarn over the hook, so you have 2 loops on your hook. Then this is the stitch with the marker here, and I am going to work in the next one. So I am going to leave 1 stitch and work in the next. Insert your hook in the next like this and yarn over and pull through. So you end up with 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Again, I'm going to show you how to do this half double crochet. You are going to yarn over your hook like this. So you have your loop from this stitch and a loop that you did from yarning over, and find the next stitch, this one. Insert your hook and make sure that you insert your hook in only 1 loop here like this, and just yarn over and pull through. So you have 3 loop. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops together. And if you could notice, I always use these 2 fingers to hold my yarn and my work all the time. So again, I'm going to repeat. I am going to yarn over like this. I have 2 loops. Insert my hook in the next loop here, only 1 loop, and yarn over and pull through only 1 loop, this loop, the chain loop. Then I end up with 3 loops. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops together. Again, like this. Insert, yarn and pull. You have 3 loops. Pull them all together. If we count the number of the movements that we do with our hook, 1, 2, 3, so you end up with 3 loops, and just yarn over and pull through the 3 loops. You can just remind yourself that you do 3 moves before having 3 loops. 1, yarning over. 2, inserting your hook in the chain. 3, yarning over and pull through, so you end up with 3 loops, and just finish them together. Now I have done all the stitches in my row, and this is the first row of half double crochet. So as you can see, it gives you a very pretty look, and it works higher than the previous stitch, which is the single crochet. And I use this stitch in most of my projects actually. Now to start another row of half double crochet, what you need to do is just chain one, only one. I know that some people tell you to chain two to match the height of the stitch. No, I like to chain one so it won't create a gap between the lines. So I'm going to chain only one and turn my work. So this is the chain one that I did, so I am going to mark this chain here. Now the special thing about this stitch is that in the previous stitch we only had 2 loops for the stitch. This one here, this is the front loop, and this is the back loop. But in this stitch we have 3 loops with us: the back loop, the front loop, and the third loop in here. This is the third loop. Now again, this is very important. I do have here 1 loop. This is the back loop of the stitch. Then I do have the front loop of the stitch. I hope this is clear for you. This and this. And I also do have another loop, which is the third loop. It's the under loop here. This is the third loop. So I'm going to show you again. This is here, the under loop here. This is the third loop, and you have front loop and you have back loop. To work a regular half double crochet, you need to work in both loops, not the third one. Forget the third one. You are going to insert your hook in both these 2 loops. So again, for those who ask to see the first stitch, this is the first stitch here. See, this is the stitch that I ended my line with, and it creates these 2 loops. And this is the one I did for chaining one only for the height. So I am going to work inside this stitch here. I hope this is clear for those who asked. Now you are going to yarn over and insert your hook under both the front and the back loop here, and leaving this third loop under, and just work your half double crochet. Again, I am going to yarn over, insert my hook under both 2 loops, the back and the front here, leaving this third loop again, and continue doing this like this. Yarn over. You have here 2 loops. You are going to insert your hook under both loops like that. See? And then yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, and continue doing this. See, these are the 2 loops here. So yarn and just continue doing half double crochet. Again, yarn, insert under both loops, yarn over and pull through. Just make sure that your loops are not that tight or not that loose. You just manage them at the same height. like this to be flexible or movable on your hook. Now this is important for beginners also. Some people tend to add stitches or just miss stitches. They come to the end of the row and just finish their row. No, I put the stitch marker here to see where I am going to end my row. So as you can see, I still have these two loops and the one with the marker here. So I still have one stitch to work with. So I am going to yarn over, insert my hook in both loops. So as you can see, I only take one loop. No, I am going to take the other loop also and just finish my work like this. This is how I make my half double crochet, regular half double crochet. You can see here the edges are nice and neat, and from here also. See, this is only chain 1 that I did, not chaining 2. It makes my stitches tight together. It didn't create a gap between the stitches. Now to start another row, you are going to chain 1 and turn your work. You are going to mark this stitch here, this one here that I did, mark it like this. So this is the marked stitch and this is the first stitch. I do have here 3 loops, this third loop and the front and the back loop. I'm going to work in both these 2 loops. So yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over and pull through, and pull through the 3 loops together, and so on until you reach the end. You can use this stitch to create a very beautiful scarves or blankets or baby blankets. It's very beautiful and works very quickly, and it creates a very good texture for baby blankets also, for those who doesn't like their blankets to have holes for the little fingers to coat up. See, I have reached the end of my row, and I should make clear that this is the one with the marker, so I still have one here left. Sometimes it's little twisted to the back, but I need to find the 2 loops of my stitch here. These are the 2 loops, so I am going to yarn over and insert the hook under both 2 loops. These are the 2 loops here, and just finish my work. Chain 1, turn, and mark, of course, this stitch. This is how you do half double crochet. Very beautiful stitch. And if we just move this here, you will find the edges are very straight here and here. See? So you can see that this third loop created a very beautiful texture. It's reversible stitch like here and the same from here. So let's see how this works with the chart. We started with this starting chain or the foundation chain, so SCH, starting chain. You start with this symbol, which means chain, so you chain the number of the chains that the pattern gives. Then you are going to chain 1 for the height. Then this symbol here means half double crochet. It's like the T shape without anything else. So whenever you find this T shape or one line and only one slash above it, so it's going to be half double crochet. So you work one half double crochet in each row, then chain one, then work one half double crochet in each stitch, and so on and so forth. And this is the chart for the first variation of the stitch. So how you do it in the pattern, so let's read it together. This means yarn over, then insert your hook. This means hook in the stitch, so ST means stitch. Yarn over and pull your yarn. You have 3 loops. Yarn over and pull through the 3 loops together, and this is how you work half double crochet, the regular one. So this was part 1, and we're going to do part 2.